Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our program, The Inner Voice. You are tuned to 1422 medium wave. This is the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I'm Dr. Gabrielidis. I'll be with you till 1 o'clock. Today I'm going to be discussing the law of least effort. The law of least effort. You'll not want to miss it, my friends. Fascinating program about our emotional well-being and how to cope with life in an enhanced manner, how to take charge instead of letting life happen to us. So stay tuned while I greet my fellow Greek listeners, and I'll be back with you in just a sec. Καλησπέρα σας φίλες και φίλοι, κυρίες και κύριοι. Είσαστε συντονισμένοι στα 1422 μεσαία κύματα της νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής με την εκπομπή μας Εσωτερική Φωνή. Μαζί σας ο Δ. Παναγιώτης Γαβριλίδης μέχρι τις 1 η ώρα. Μείνετε συντονισμένοι μαζί μας και εύχομαι να αναπαύσουμε λίγο, να χαμογελάσουμε λίγο σήμερα, να περάσουμε την ώρα ωραία. Alright, my friends, the law of least effort. Kind of mystical title, paradoxical title. The law of least effort and how we can apply it practically in our lives and how we actually desperately need to apply it. Alright, this law, my friends, is based on the fact that nature's intelligence functions with effortless ease and a kind of abandoned carefreeness. Now, when I was very little, my dad attempted many times, successfully, to teach me this lesson. My child, he would say to me, don't force things, because if you do, they may break. Then what? Alright? He would say this to me over and over and over again. Don't force things, my son. Don't force things. You don't want them to break. To illustrate, he would take a spanner and tighten a nut so hard that the nut would strip and of course be rendered useless thereafter. Now later in life, as I matured and as I went through my odyssey of finding myself, I observed this principle in nature as well, with trees, pine trees for example. I observed that pine trees are rigid, as we all know, and in a storm they can snap. Willow trees, on the other hand, are very pliable and they will bend and twist with the storm. But when the storm is gone, they're still there, they're still here. Yes, a little battered here and there, I'm sure, but still fully functioning and able to continue their labor of love towards man and beast and the environment, you see. Whereas pine trees, as I've seen with my own eyes, in a hurricane will just snap in 2 and 3. Frightening thing to see. I've actually seen a hurricane take a 100-foot tall pine tree and snap it in 2 places. Crack, crack. End of the pine tree, you see. Whereas the pliable trees like the willow tree surrounding in the surrounding areas survive the hurricane. They survive and they're still fully functioning after the storm. Now we as people, as human beings, also come in all kinds of forms, particularly in rigid or pliable forms, or everything in the middle. Rigid people are unbending in their views. For example, there is only one way to do things, their way. And every other way is wrong, alright? You don't do things my way, hit the road, Jack. I don't want to know you. There's only one correct thing, one correct way to do things, and that is my way. But wise people, pliable people, on the other hand, the more mature, the more wise people among us, are willing to meet you halfway. They will take your point of view into consideration and will cooperate with you in order to get the job done. They're willing to bend. They're willing to meet you halfway. They're pliable. Consequently, they are much happier people and have a lot less anguish and stress in their lives. And of course, those they come into contact with and have dealings with are also much happier as a result. This, my friends, is the principle of least action, of least resistance. I'll have a lot more to say about it, but talking about pliable people and people who are willing to cooperate with you reminds me of the story of the 100th monkey syndrome, an amazing scientific discovery that they made some decades ago now. They observed that there were a group of monkeys off the coast of Japan that for years, for thousands of years, hundreds of years, as people observed those monkeys, they would break clams in a certain way. They would take the clams, go up high on the rocks, and drop them way down off the cliff. And as the clams broke apart at the bottom of the cliff, the monkeys would run there and eat them. But then one female one day inadvertently grabbed a rock and smashed the clam. Well, this was much easier and much quicker than getting the clams, trekking up to the top of the cliff, throwing them off the cliff, let them break at the bottom on the rocks, and then climbing down again and getting the food that way. This was a lot quicker, more efficient. And the other monkeys around her, of course, started doing the same thing, using rocks to break the clams. Now, pretty soon the whole tribe was doing it. Now, these monkeys were isolated on an island just off the coast of Japan. Now, here is the interesting thing, and I'll tell you how it ties in with what I want to say. That other monkeys of the same genre, the same species, is the word I'm looking for, in other islands hundreds of miles away that had no contact with this particular group of monkeys, began doing the same thing. Now, that's amazing. From time immemorial, as we observed these monkeys, they broke the clams the same way. Climb up the cliff, throw them onto the rocks. Suddenly, though, this one female discovers a new way of breaking the clams, and suddenly other groups of monkeys, hundreds of miles away with no contact, no one showing them, began doing the same thing. What is going on here? This is science. And since then, this has become a big science, the science of morphogenetic fields, which basically means that we're all connected on some level, on the great subconscious level, right? We're all connected, and animals as well, obviously. And once enough of us begin thinking a certain way, or doing things a certain way, or speaking a certain way, then we reach what scientists call a critical mass point. And once that critical mass point is reached, then the whole group in the species of animal begins doing the same thing, and the same with humans. Now you can begin to understand why one man, a Gandhi, one man, a Socrates, one woman, teenager at that, a Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc, in France, would get an idea. She would be so burning with passion about it, as well as Gandhi, as well as Socrates, that as they imparted their ideas to the next person, and the next person, and the next person, and those people, as they did that, enough people began to think the same way as this one individual did, like the 100th monkey syndrome, that wow, we find a whole nation, India, liberating themselves from the British Empire. We find a teenager, Jeanne d'Arc, taking the whole nation with her to war in a day when women meant nothing and men ruled the roost. Okay? Amazing, you see? This is what scientists call the critical mass point. So, likewise, you and I, if we think good thoughts, loving thoughts, helpful thoughts, cooperative thoughts, thoughts of effortless ease, as opposed to, ooh, I've got to stress, I've got to struggle to pay the rent, I've got to struggle to do this, I've got to struggle to educate my children, I've got to struggle to stay in my relationship, I've got to work hard at it. You see, instead of doing that, instead of believing that lie, instead of believing in the law of least effort, we can go on and change the lives of many of thousands of people, and hopefully the whole planet, just like Gandhi did, just like Jeanne d'Arc did, just like Socrates did. The teachings of Socrates are still reverberating throughout the planet thousands of years after his death. You see my point? You see? This is the principle of least action, of least resistance. And therefore it is also the principle of harmony and love. Harmony and love. Love of fellow man, love of yourself, love of the good things, the right way, love of justice, love of fairness, love of health. Why? You see, resistance, unreasonable resistance, my friends, causes everything from interpersonal strife to world wars, doesn't it? Now, I'm not talking about someone coming at you with a knife to hurt you or kill you, my friends. Then you obviously need to defend yourself as best you can, and as efficiently as you can, and as forcefully as you can. We're talking here about ordinary life. What color shall we paint the house? Where shall we put the sofa? Shall we do this project at work, the project at work, this way or that way? Both ways will get the job done. Therefore it's silly to go to war about doing it only your way or my way. You see what I mean, I'm sure. When we learn this lesson, my friends, we easily fulfill our desires, because we go through life, through our relationships, with a lot less friction, a lot less resistance, and hence things move a lot more salubriously. Like the wheel, the squeaky wheel that you oil, it moves a lot more salubriously. It's now oiled. That's what that word means. More smoothly. We move through life more smoothly when we stop to think and stop to meditate on this law of the ages called the law of least effort. Now, I will elaborate a lot more on it as the program unfolds, so that we can understand. There are three components as well to the law of least effort that I'll get to later. The component of acceptance, of responsibility, of defenselessness, a very fascinating component, I find. Particularly acceptance and defenselessness, they speak to me. Now, if you observe nature at work, you will see that least effort, not no effort, but least effort is expended. Do you see the difference? I'm not saying we need no effort. No, of course not. It's taking me effort right now to do this program. It's taking you effort to listen to me. I am talking about least effort without stress, not no effort, as opposed to stressful effort. You see, when you observe nature at work, you'll see that she expends least effort. Least effort. Grass, for example, the grass doesn't stress to grow. Gotta grow. Stress. Push. Struggle. No. The grass just grows. The fish don't stress to swim. They just swim. Flowers don't stress to bloom. They just bloom. Birds don't stress to fly. They just fly. This is their intrinsic nature. Their inherent, innate nature. The earth doesn't try to spin on its own axis. It is the nature of the earth to spin with dizzying speed around its axis and to hurtle through space. That's what the earth does. It is the nature of babies to be in bliss. It is the nature of the sun to shine. The sun doesn't have to struggle to shine. It is the nature of the stars to glitter and sparkle and twinkle. And it is human nature, it should be human nature to make our dreams manifest. In other words, to manifest our goals in physical form easily and without excessive and deleterious or harmful stress. You see, effort by itself is necessary and right when proceeding towards your goals. But effort laced with negative emotion, that now becomes negative stress. That now becomes negative effort, because it's laced with emotion. I'm working so hard. I wonder whether I will accomplish what I want to accomplish. You see? I mean, if you want to build a house, you have to put out effort and put the bricks together, and sooner or later the house will be built. You have to have a plan, etc. You have to know what you're doing, and you'll be happy when the house is built. But if while putting the bricks together you start stressing and you start fretting, well, what if the bricks are no good? What if the electrician is a scoundrel and cheats me? What if the plumber, and so on and so on and so on, and you obsess about everything? Well, now you see, you're lacing your good and wonderful effort of building the house and your talent as a builder with negative emotion. You see, well, what if? What if this bad thing happens? What if that bad thing, you know? And sure as God made little apples, your stress level will rise to the point where instead of enjoying the fruits of your labor, you become one unappetizing ball of distress. Isn't it? And we've all experienced that, haven't we? And what's more, once you get to that point, it doesn't end with you, like the 100th monkey syndrome. Oh, that works negatively as well, by the way, my friends. I gave you a positive example, but that works negatively as well. Here is now you're a ball of stress and distress, and now you begin infecting everyone around you. And they become miserable as well, and on it goes, spreading like a virus. So who's going to be the wise one to stop it? To say, hey, what am I doing? Why am I struggling? Why don't I stop fretting and gnashing my teeth in anguish and take a step back and look at the situation with a fresh eye, like a child would, in wonder, and maybe see a different, far less stressful solution, a more salubrious, smoother solution. In the age-old philosophy of India, my friends, this principle is known as the principle of economy of effort. You see? The principle of economy of effort. The law of least effort. Just another way of saying the same thing. Do less and accomplish more by being clear-headed, calmer. Okay? Ultimately, you come to the state where you never stress anymore, and yet accomplish everything you want without stress. This is the ideal, perfection. But who says we can't strive for perfection? Who says we can't be perfect one day, right? Now this will mean that perfection, if you were to reach perfection, this means that there's just a faint idea, and then the manifestation of the idea comes about easily, with good humor as well. What a dull world this world is becoming, because there is less and less humor. Have you noticed that people just don't tell jokes anymore? For life has become far too serious. Used to be, I remember, even when I was a teenager, everyone would have a joke to tell, a humorous story. Now, no, nothing. There's one disaster after the other. See, we want to strive for the level of miracles. What is commonly called a miracle is actually just an expression of the law of least effort. Every time a blade of grass grows, that's a miracle. Every time you sink your teeth into a juicy apple, that's a miracle. Nature's intelligence likewise functions effortlessly, you see, frictionlessly, to coin a word, frictionlessly, spontaneously, salubriously. It is non-linear, it is intuitive, it is holistic, and it is nourishing, and it hurts no one, only does good to everybody. And when you are thus in harmony with nature, when you are established in the knowledge of your true and authentic self, with a capital S, then you can make use of the law of least effort all the time. You can. Least effort is expended when your actions are motivated by love, because nature is held together by the energy of love. No doubt about it. Consider kindness. What is that but an energy of love? Kindness expressed unconditionally. When you seek power and control over other people, you waste energy. Big amounts of energy. You distress yourself, you distress everyone around you, because you have now become a control freak. That's how you get your kicks, seeking power and control over other people. Now, if you're a natural leader, you won't have to do that, you see, and you won't. A natural leader is one who has passion, who has a goal, and who has a plan to achieve that goal. You'll find then that most people will follow such a natural leader, because they don't have a plan, they don't have a goal. They're not leaders, you see, so they naturally look around and say, well, what am I going to do today? There's nothing to do. Well, that person seems to know what they're doing, they're going somewhere, why don't I join? You see? And that's how new movements are born, new groups, etc., etc. When you seek money or power for the sake of the ego, the insidious ego, you spend energy chasing the illusion of happiness instead of enjoying happiness in the moment. When you seek money for personal gain only, you cut off the flow of energy to yourself, you see, and you interfere with the expression of nature's intelligence towards you. But when your actions are motivated by authentic love, there is no waste of energy. None. When your actions are motivated by love, your energy multiplies and accumulates, and the surplus energy you gather and enjoy can be channeled to create anything you want. I mean, within reason, okay? You can't create another universe. The universe has already been created. We're not talking ridiculous things here, okay? But you can create the things that you need and want for you and your children. You can create health. You can create abundance. You can create peace. You can create laughter and joy. You can think of your physical body as a device for controlling energy, because that's what it actually is scientifically. Our physical bodies are devices for controlling energy. No doubt about it. They can generate, store, and expend energy. That's what our bodies do. So if we learn how to generate, store, and expend energy in an efficient, stress-free way, effortless way, then we can create any degree of abundance, of love, of joy, of peace. Attention to the ego, however, consumes the greatest amount of energy. When your internal reference point is the ego, me, when you seek power and control over other people, or seek approval from others, another great danger. Do you approve of me? Will you love me if I do that? Will you love me if I do this? You spend energy in a wasteful way. Will you love me if I wash your socks for 10 years? Will you love me if I cook for you for 10 years? Will you love me if I stop? You see? Ego, ego, ego. People go around, they should say, I trade you. They should not say, I love you, honey. They should say, I trade you, because they're trading something for something else, you see. They're trading maybe security, a home, and in return the honey is trading her affections to the man, you see. Do people really understand what true, authentic love is? It's not conditional to whether you wash my socks for the next 10 years or make my dinner for the next 10 years, or whether you smile every time you see me for the next 10 years. No, that's a trade-off. That's a trade. That's not unconditional love, you see. When our energy is freed up, when it doesn't have to pander to the ego anymore and to being a control freak, it can then be rechanneled and used to create anything that we want. When our internal reference point is our spirit, our authenticity, the God force within us, when we are immune to criticism and unfearful of any challenge, then, and only then, we can harness the power of love, which holds the universe together, which runs the universe, which expands the universe never-endingly, and use that energy creatively for the experience of abundance and growth. In the book entitled The Art of Dreaming by Carlos Castaneda, or as my beloved would say, my beloved Madalena, Carlos Castaneda, he's Portuguese speaking, as you can say these things much better than us Greek speaking peoples can. Alright, so in that book by Carlos Castaneda, the character, the protagonist, Don Juan, says, the book's called The Art of Dreaming, for those who are interested, and I quote, "Most of our energy goes into upholding our importance. If we were capable of losing some of that importance, two extraordinary things would happen to us. One, we would free our energy from trying to maintain the illusory idea of our personal grandeur." Wow. Yes, indeed. The first thing that would happen, if we were capable of losing some of that egotistical importance, you see, that we so all strive towards, is we would free our energy from trying to maintain the illusion of our grandeur. And two, the second thing that would happen is that we would provide ourselves with enough energy to catch a glimpse of the actual grandeur of the universe. Now there is grandeur. There is grandeur to wow at. To say wow, to look at and say wow. There is actual grandeur. There's nothing grandiose about your little ego or mine. I hasten to add, very much hasten. We're all in the same boat, my friends. We're all Homo sapiens sapiens, human beings. My friends, stay with me. We will now go to a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with our topic, the law of least effort, and examine the three components of the law of least effort: acceptance, responsibility, and defenselessness. We are halfway. Stay with us here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic voice, and we'll be right back with the inner voice. This is Dr. Gabrielidis. I'll give you my telephone number in a minute, and again at the end. I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. Those of you who do wish to chat to me for any reason whatsoever, inquire about the nutrients or the modality of therapy that I use, my number is 076-189-6690. I repeat, 076-189-6690. Stay with us. Θα πάμε τώρα, φίλες και φίλοι, κυρίες και κύριοι, στο συνηθισμένο μας διαφημιστικό διάλειμμα και θα είμαστε πάλι μαζί σε λίγα λεπτά εδώ στα 1422 μεσαία κείμενα της Νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής, να συνεχίσουμε το πρόγραμμά μας Εσωτερική Φωνή. Ο Δόκτωρ Παναγιώτης Γαβριλίδης μαζί σας μέχρι τις 1 η ώρα. Το τηλέφωνο μου τώρα θα σας δώσω για όποιον θέλει να με συμβολευτεί για διάφορες θεραπείες με natural medicine, και θα ξαναδώσω το νούμερο μου πάλι στο τέλος της εκπομπής, μολύβι και χαρτί, γρήγορα για όποιον ενδιαφέρεται. Μπορείτε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου στο νούμερο 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Μείνετε μαζί μας. You're tuned to 1422 medium wave. This is the new Pan-Hellenic voice. This is the inner voice with Dr. Gabrielidis. Second half will be going till 1 o'clock. And we're talking today about the law of least effort. Alright, my friends, I mentioned before the break that I was going to address the three components to the law of least effort. Three things we can do practically today, every day, to put this principle of doing less and accomplishing more into action. What are these three things? The first component is acceptance. Acceptance, my friends, means many things, but in this context that I am talking about today, regarding the law of least effort, acceptance simply means that we make a commitment. For example, today I will accept people, accept situations, accept circumstances, and I will accept events as they occur. This means I will know that this moment is as it should be. Otherwise it would be different, wouldn't it? Because the whole universe is as it should be. If it's not, work to change it, if it's not to your liking. This moment, however, the one you're experiencing right now, is the culmination of all the moments you have experienced in the past to bring you to this point. It's logical, isn't it? This moment is as it is because the entire universe is as it is. Now, here's where the problem begins. When we, as individuals, begin to struggle against this moment, you see, negative struggle, we're actually struggling against the entire universe. So what do we do instead? Instead, we can make the decision that today we will not struggle against the whole universe by not struggling against this moment. Okay? Now again, balance. I'm not talking about someone coming at you with a knife. Alright? Please. This means that our acceptance of this moment is total and complete. You accept things as they are, not as you wish they were in this moment. What you wish for you can change by positive, non-stressful effort later and every day, starting now. But the now is now. We accept things as they are, not as we wish they were in this moment. You see, this principle of acceptance, and why do this? See, this principle is most powerful, and it is most important that we understand why it is so important and why this principle of acceptance of the current moment is so powerful and so important. Okay, this is why. We can wish for things in the future to be different. No problem against that. No one is saying that you should not do that. Of course you can wish for things to be different in the future. But in this moment, in order for things to be different in the future, by least effort and least struggle, in this moment, you have to accept things as they are now. What do I mean? Let's clarify further. What do I mean? See, when you feel frustrated or upset by a person or a situation, remember that you're not reacting to the person or the situation. No. Did you know that? Someone comes and calls you, "Hey, dummy, what are you doing now?" If you were to get upset and say, "Who are you calling a dummy?" How dare you? No, you see, you're not reacting to that person or the fact that the person called you a dummy. No. You are reacting to your feelings about the person and about the person's words, not to the person or the words. You see? If you were the Buddha and someone came and called you, "Hey, dummy, what you doing today?" you would not answer. I've told the story before, how this person went around insulting the Buddha for 3 days. And at the end of 3 days, they said, "Well, how come you didn't take offense at any of my insults?" And the Buddha said, "My friend, for the last 3 days you've been offering me gifts. Now at what point does a gift become mine or yours?" The person said, "Well, when I accept the gift." And the Buddha said, "Well, for the last 3 days I did not accept any of your gifts." Oh, dear, dear, dear. Okay? If someone calls you a dummy, that's a gift they're offering to you that you certainly do not have to accept. It's only when you accept it and then you start reacting to your feelings, and it's only then that you get upset, you see? But you know you're not a dummy, so, you know. Gauteng traffic, someone shows you the finger. Someone lays on the horn and yells at you. It's a gift they're offering you. It only becomes yours when you accept it. Okay. So we react to our feelings about the person or about the situation. These are your feelings, and your feelings alone, and are not someone else's fault. They're your feelings. When you recognize, you see, and understand this completely, you're then ready to take responsibility for how you feel and to change it. And if you can accept things as they are, then you're ready to take responsibility for your situation and for all the events that you see as problems, but are really just gifts that you accept or not. And this leads us to the second component of the law of least effort, responsibility. What does responsibility mean? What do I mean by that? See, responsibility means not blaming anyone or anything for your situation, including yourself. Please, don't go around blaming anybody, including yourself. Don't blame yourself. Having accepted the circumstance, this event, this problem, responsibility then means the ability to have a creative response to the situation as it is now. All problems contain within them the seeds of opportunity to change that problem, and this awareness allows you to take the moment and transform it to a better situation or thing. See how powerful these principles are? Principle of acceptance, the principle of responsibility. Once you do this, every so-called upsetting situation will become an opportunity for the creation of something new and beautiful and harmonious and loving. And every so-called tormentor or tyrant in your life will just become a teacher offering you gifts, which you can accept or not. You see, reality is actually an interpretation. your personal interpretation. And if you choose to interpret reality in this way, you will have many teachers around you, I promise you, and many opportunities to evolve. So, whenever confronted by a tyrant, a tormentor, a teacher, a friend, or an enemy, they all mean the same thing. You heard right. Your beloved, your soulmate, your tyrant, your tormentor, your teacher, your friend, your enemy, they all mean the same thing. Remind yourself, this moment is as it should be. This moment is as it should be. I can change it in the future, but this moment now is as it should be. So I will accept it, I will take responsibility for it, and then plan to change it in the future. Whatever relationships you have attracted in your life at this moment are precisely the ones you need in your life at this moment. There is a hidden meaning behind all events, and this hidden meaning is serving your own evolution. Alright, my friends, the third component of the law of least effort is defenselessness, which means that your awareness is established in defenselessness, which means you have relinquished the need to convince or persuade others of your point of view. You don't need to defend yourself or explain yourself. Give it up. It's a waste of energy. The energy you save defending yourself and explaining yourself, you can use to create the harmonious, loving world, abundant world, healthy world that you want to create. It matters not, my friends, that Harry or Sally don't live their lives your way, or that they don't want you to live your life your way. It matters not. You have to live your life in such a way that it brings you love and joy and peace and happiness, not Harry's or Sally's way. No way. Alright? It has to bring you love, joy, and peace your way. If you observe people around you, you'll see that they spend 99% of their time defending their points of view, explaining themselves endlessly, ad nauseam, and boring us all to death. But if we just relinquish this need to defend our point of view, we will, in that relinquishment, gain access to enormous amounts of energy that have been previously wasted. When we become defensive, you see, and blame others and blame ourselves, and do not accept and surrender to the moment, our life meets resistance. Resistance. Anytime you encounter resistance, recognize that if you force the situation, the resistance will only increase. You don't want to stand rigid like a tall oak tree or pine tree that cracks and collapses in the storm, my friends. No. Instead, you want to be flexible like a reed or a willow tree that will bend with the storm and survive and bloom and thrive. So the thing to do is to completely desist from defending your point of view. Keep it to yourself. You know who you are. When you have no point to defend, you do not allow the birth of an argument. If you do this consistently, if you stop fighting and resisting, you will fully experience the present. If you embrace the present and become one with it and merge with it, my friends, you will experience a fire, a glow, a sparkle of ecstasy throbbing in every living sentient being. And as you begin to experience this exaltation of spirit in the oneness of everything that is alive, as you become intimate with it, joy will be born within you, and you will drop the terrible burdens and encumbrances of defensiveness, resentment, and hurtfulness. Only then will we become light-hearted, carefree, joyous, and free. I don't know about you, my friends, but this is the kind of experience I want from my life, and for my children, and for my friends, and for the world. In this joyful, simple freedom, you will know without any doubt in your heart that what you want is available to you whenever you want it. because your want will be born from the level of happiness, not from the level of anxiety or fear. Nothing good comes from that level. You do not need to justify. Simply declare your intent to yourself, and you will experience fulfillment, delight, joy, freedom, and autonomy, self-rule in every moment of your life. All right, my friends, I invite us to make a commitment to follow this path of least resistance. This is the path through which nature's intelligence unfolds spontaneously, without friction or effort. When you have the exquisite combination of acceptance of the present moment, responsibility for what you have created, brought about, and defenselessness, you will experience life flowing with effortless ease. When you remain open to all points of view, are considerate of others, not rigidly attached to only one point of view, your dreams, your desires, your goals will flow with nature's desires in harmony. Then you can release your intentions without attachment, without obsessiveness, and just wait for the appropriate season for your desires to blossom into reality. You can be sure that when the season is right, my friends, your desires will manifest. This is the law of least effort. I want to leave you, my friends, with my favorite nursery rhyme. Row, row, row your boat, not anybody else's. Gently, not with struggle. Down the stream, not up the stream. Merrily, 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 for life is but a dream. Your dream and my dream, my friends. Sweet dreams. Okay, my friends. I invite you to tune in again next Monday at high noon, 12 o'clock, right here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic voice. Remember that I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. Those of you who do wish to consult me, pen and paper, quick. My number is 076 189 6690. I repeat, 076 189 6690. CDs of this program and past programs are available from me. Contact me if you're interested. Also, if you have a group that you would like me to give a talk to, let me know. I'll be happy to do that, and I do those talks for free. Till next time, take care. Have a good week. Keep smiling. From me, Dr. Gabriel, it is a bid the adieu. And don't forget my program tomorrow night on holistic health, right here on the new Pan-Hellenic voice, 1422 medium wave AM, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Take care, my friends. Λοιπόν, φίλες και φίλοι, κυρίες και κύριοι, φτάσαμε στο τέλος της εκπομπής μας και για σήμερα. Θα είμαι πάλι μαζί σας την επόμενη Δευτέρα από τις 12 το μεσημέρι μέχρι τις 1 το απόγευμα, εδώ στα 1422 μεσαία κείμενα της νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής. Όσοι από εσάς θέλετε να με συμβουλευτείτε για διάφορες θεραπείες με natural medicine, μπορείτε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου στο τηλέφωνο 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Επίσης μπορώ να σας προμηθεύσω CDs αυτού του προγράμματος και όλων των προηγουμένων προγραμματών μου. Όπως επίσης δίνω διαλέξεις στην αγγλική. Εάν έχετε ένα group που ενδιαφέρεται για μια τέτοια διάλεξη σε holistic health, μην διστάσετε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου. Οι διαλέξεις μου είναι εντελώς δωρεάν. Αυτά λοιπόν, αγαπητοί μου ακροατές, από μένα, τον Δόκτωρα Παναγιώτη Γαβριλίδη. Καλό σας απόγευμα, καλή σας μέρα, καλή εβδομάδα. Και μην ξεχάσετε να με ακούσετε αύριο βράδυ από τις 7 μέχρι τις 8 περί την υγεία μας. Αντίο σας.